I hate you.
It's another episode of the Way Out Here podcast. We are now sponsored by Coastland Apparel. So you can go get Coastland Apparel at coastlandapparel.com. Use code Way Out Here Pod for 15% off. If you don't know the code, make sure to go in the description, in the show notes, and you can copy and paste that code for 15% off on Coastland Apparel. They have dope stuff for the summer. So go get some hats, go get some t-shirts for the summer. They even have some women's stuff. So go catch all the Coastland Apparel at coastlandapparel.com. All right, we got a packed show today. The first one right off the top is something that Taylor, I think you sent us in the group chat over the weekend. Jeff Bezos wants to go to space.
Oh yeah. What? Why? Oh yeah. Jeff Bezos is going to space.
My first question is, does he not know he's like the richest person ever? Like why as a rich person would he want to do this?
He said he's wanted to ever since he was a kid.
Yeah.
His kids must just be so happy. They're like, thank God, we're going to get so much money out of this.
He is.
I just don't get it.
Do you find it? This is probably the conspiracy coming out a little bit. Do you find it a little suspect that Jeff Bezos is like voluntarily going to space with a crew?
And
like
dude,
he wants to leave Earth.
Yeah. $20 says he gets lost in space.
No, yeah. Shuttle blows up for some odd reason that nobody knows.
Good time to buy Amazon stock.
Oh yeah. Hey. Yeah, there you go.
There's your little so he's had a rocket company for a while. So he's had Blue Origin, who they supply obviously like rockets and different space shuttles for space programs, including NASA, competing with, you know, the Teslas and everything that Elon's got going on with SpaceX. Yeah. So it makes sense that he obviously is involved in this, but for him to literally be like, I'm going to be part of the crew is absolutely crazy.
That's a little
especially because he's not even an astronaut.
Also, it takes a lot to be an astronaut. He's going to have to train for a long time. Like, there's a lot of stuff you have to know.
Dude, the flight's scheduled for the July 20th. So I don't know how much training you could get in a month, but
what?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
He must be getting like an executive pass here because some astronauts train their whole lives for one trip.
And they might not even get it.
Right.
All right. Listen to this line. The flight is scheduled for July 20th, just 15 days after he is set to resign as CEO of Amazon.
Dude,
there's midlife.
Jeff,
what are you doing, bro?
There's midlife crises, and then there's wanting to literally go to space.
Also, that goes to show how much money he has, dude.
Absolutely.
Also, I think we've talked about it before, dude. His net worth is $185.8 billion.
Light work. Just a casual.
He probably made that all in the year.
Just a casual, almost $250 billion.
Dude, what did Mitchell say at dinner the other day about like it's like,
yeah, he was talking about how if you have $1,000 and you time, like you're only 1,000 times like 1,000 to get to 1,000,000, and then you're 1 million, like you're 1,001 millions away from being a billionaire.
Yeah,
like, which put it in perspective of like, oh, you know
how much money that is.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Isn't that
right? Isn't that nuts?
1,000 millions is 1 billion.
Yeah. So think of times that now by 180. So he has like 180,000 million.
Nope.
Like that's just
my brain's locking up just trying to do that math.
Yeah, I just had a stroke there.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
I think everybody did, even listeners right now. I think listeners are probably like, my brain.
That's so much money.
But to give it all away, like there's so many other things that you could do that would probably like scratch the itch of wanting to do something crazy like this, like an adrenaline rush. Like, I don't know, go bungee jumping, go jump out of a plane,
ride a roller coaster.
So didn't Bezos and his old lady get divorced though recently?
Yeah, a little
separated?
Oh yeah,
last year, 2 years ago.
It had to have been last year because I thought it was recent.
It was last year because we talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked about it
because she got like $90 billion in the divorce.
Something's a little suspect here. This just doesn't add up, dude. There's so many things that are just. I mean, it's cool. I wouldn't want to go. I don't think you can. I don't really. I don't want to go up
Again,
to space. I have a
it's
hard time
hard,
just
like-
flying in a regular airplane, dude.
Even if you want to go to space, it is not an easy task. It is
Yeah.
like you have to study engineering, you have to study all of these crazy things like physics. You have to be really, really intelligent and really want to go to space to be an astronaut. And Jeff Bezos is like, I'm just going to retire from Amazon and go to space 15 days later. That's absurd.
That's weird. I don't know. It's
Yeah, so it was in 2019, it looks like,
yeah.
when this article was posted.
They must have settled when we were doing the pod because I remember like,
Yeah, because I remember
seeing-
us talking about it.
Yeah,
oh,
same.
we talked about it because she got married. Remember,
Yeah,
she got
that's
married to that
right. Oh,
Seattle
that's
teacher.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, wow, that was quick work for her.
What a downgrade.
I bet
What
they're
an upgrade
cashing
for the
on that,
teacher.
life insurance here pretty soon.
Can you imagine just going to math class Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends you're just like marrying Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, and you immediately become a billionaire. Like,
Do
you're
you
just-
think they signed a prenup? Do you think they signed a prenup?
I 100% believe they should.
Yeah, you
Like,
think so?
she'd have to be pretty confident that, like, he's not just gonna bounce
We're
after
gonna
like
work
90 days.
regardless.
90
Yeah,
days.
90-day
top
fiance to a whole
45
new meeting.
90-day fiance, and then he cops $45 billion. like just takes half of her shit.
That'd be the teacher in him.
I think that she probably was forced to do a prenup with him because she owns so much Amazon stock that it's a risk for the company if she didn't.
That's
Or like
true,
they
that
had to,
makes sense.
he had to sign something like, you're not going to get half the Amazon shares, because if he sold off Amazon, their stock would drop, their company would like fail, all of that. So it'd be crazy. Yeah, I don't know. That's wild. But I mean, again, it stands. Teaching math on a Tuesday and then just going and being a billionaire on the weekends is pretty wild.
Well, I mean, every day you're a
Balling.
billionaire.
No, I know, but like you got married on Saturday or something. You're just like
Oh, and then
a
you go back
casual
to-
teacher
Yeah.
on a Tuesday, and you're like, yeah, I'm just getting married on Saturday and just light work, and then
on
coming
Monday,
back
you're a
on Monday.
billionaire.
Yeah, you come back on Monday. You're just like, what?
Just
No
big dicking it around the halls.
Dude,
Exactly.
You know who
shot-
I am?
Dude, no way I'm coming back.
You think?
There's
Yeah, you
no
think
shot.
you think he finished the year
Fuck
teaching?
no, I wouldn't.
I would.
I'd be done.
Dude, I'd get so bored if I was a billionaire.
I could definitely find some stuff to do if I was.
I think it would take some time. Like, I think you would get bored, but it would take you like a year or
Yeah,
maybe two.
True. I also don't do anything, so that's probably why I get bored.
Matt, you would have like some crazy man cave, like 6
yeah.
gaming PCs, like one for every day.
you could just start your own esports team, dude.
Honestly, that would be pretty wild. If you had to start your own esports team, what would be the like staple of your team? Like what game?
Big dicks.
Don't know what kind of games you're playing.
Oh, game. Got it. Got
No,
it.
hey, I don't judge. This is a judge-free zone, man. Like,
Yeah, this
whatever,
is a
dude.
safe space, dude.
Yeah, happy month, Taylor.
This is
your
the trust
month.
tree. This is the trust tree.
This is for you. This is
It's
your
the
month,
trust tree.
dude. I don't know. It's probably like Dota 2, League, any like the 4 major games right now: Valorant, CS:GO, League, Dota, probably stuff like that.
Pull a Microsoft and try to get like the craziest gamers on your team.
Yeah, exactly.
You just
Nuts.
buy all
Yeah,
their
you have
contracts
money.
out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
You
have
just
all the
buy all their
money.
contracts. Get Shroud, get Ninja, like all those
Ugh,
guys
I
that went
hate
over to
Shroud.
Microsoft.
Shroud sucks.
Do you like Shroud
I-
more than
I
you like
hate-
Ninja?
I like Ninja more than I like Shroud now.
Mm,
I
wow.
also don't
Wow,
watch
that's
either
saying
of
a
them,
lot.
so I don't watch
Just-
either of them.
Hmm.
But if I had to choose, I'd probably
Yeah.
rather watch Ninja. Shroud's just so like boring and monotone now. He
Yeah.
doesn't react to anything in chat. Doesn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
At least
Ye-
Ninja's got cool hair to look at and a sick setup.
Cool hair is a stretch,
Fair
but
enough.
yeah, he has unique hair, I would say.
It's unique. That's good.
It's
That's a
unique.
good way of putting it.
Yeah. And I mean, kind of like gaming. I think not gaming, but like kind of computer news. So we talked about the hacking that happened for the Colonial Pipeline last week.
Yeah.
We talked about how these hackers hacked into the pipeline, stopped obviously the flow of fuel and gasoline to all these places, and that's why all these prices were hiked. So
Uh-huh.
news story broke today that the FBI actually took back 2.3 of the $4.5 million that the dark side hackers, that's the name of the group in Russia, that they took as ransom for Colonial's payment. So Colonial paid them $4.5 million to stop like hacking into their system. And the FBI basically just took back 2.3 of the $4.5 million.
How's that possible? How can they just do that?
I don't, so they got paid in like Bitcoin. And so they hacked into one of their like virtual wallets, which people are still kind of like sus about. Like the United States government can just like go into everybody's crypto wallets and take whatever they want at any time. That's pretty crazy.
Okay.
That's pretty sketchy.
Right. So, I mean,
What
technically
the fuck, dude?
in this specific case, the good guys won because the dark side hacker, some Russian
What?
hacker group, is like
sure it's the
trying to
good
take
guys,
money.
though?
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
the good guys are better than some Russian hacker group.
well, maybe the FBI is part of that Russian hacker group. And we're
Okay,
just all it's just a facade pulling the wool over everybody's eyes.
It's kind of like, do you guys remember? There's a situation, and this is a little sensitive topic, but there's a situation where they were trying to get information from, like, I think it was the San Bernardino shooting when that happened, and the shooter had a locked iPhone, and the FBI wanted into the iPhone.
Yeah, and Apple
and they were like, Apple was like, we can't do that. That's against our terms and privacy. But the FBI was like, you're basically like aiding and abetting a terrorist. And they're like, no matter who it is, like they have the right to their privacy. And so there was a lot of people on both sides of the fence. And then at the end, the FBI was able to like get into his phone, and it caused like a big stir. So there's still kind of a lot of controversy around this. So Taylor, even though I'm making fun of you, like you're on a side that I think a lot of majority are on, of like, yes, they got the money back from the bad guys in quotes, but at the same time, the precedent is now set that the government can just take whatever they want whenever they want, you know?
Well, it's really nothing new. It's probably what it is, but you can't count out the fact that it could possibly be something else. It's just very ironic that our pipeline got hacked by Russians and we had to pay them $4 million to stop hacking into our pipeline. And then the FBI is like, actually,
you don't like that?
We're taking 2 million back. How did they why didn't they just get the 4? Why are these people not arrested? Like, why are things just random? You know what I mean? It's just kind of a sus story, but
yeah, I think the underlying story that never gets talked about is, you know, how other countries, they would like extradite somebody or, you know, like make sure that they go to the country that they are like charged with a crime and get like prosecuted and things like that.
Yeah.
Russia's always been like, nope, sorry, you guys can't have these people. Like, we know they're doing something bad to you, but sorry, like you're out of luck.
Yeah.
And that should cause way more of a stir than it already does. Like the US should be like, hey, Russia, like you got a bunch of criminals doing stuff to US businesses. Like, at what point do we stand up for ourselves and are like, hey, like you can't mess with US businesses? Right now, it's just like, well, sorry, like hopefully we get the money back. It's like,
obviously,
who's to say they're not going to do it again in a week?
Yeah, exactly. Well, obviously, Russia doesn't give a fuck about
Hopefully they change their password.
Do you
enable two-step verification next time?
Need I remind anybody about the nuclear Russian site that nobody has any idea what was going down on, and it was leaking, and they're like, we don't even have that. That's not even ours. It's not even ours.
What are you talking about? That's
it's literally
well, fair enough.
Country.
It's like they show a picture. They're like, no, it literally is you. And they're like, nope, never seen it. What?
Yeah, exactly.
That's photoshopped.
I just wonder what, like, at what point does countries, because it's not just the United States. The United States is just like one of many. At what point does a country like stand up to one of these other countries that are just aiding these criminals in their own countries? Like if that happened in the United States, where a hacker group that's based out of the United States was messing with another country, say like China or like Russia, you bet your ass like China would throw sanctions at the United States. There'd be like repercussions. There'd be like almost war, basically. Like economic war or like actual physical war. But in this case, it seems like we just like play patsy and we're like, oh, sorry, like that sucks for you. Sorry you lost $4.5 million. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I don't know.
blows.
Probably when they're all not tied together.
The moral of the story, it's a good ass time to be a hacker.
Facts.
You get paid.
Yeah.
You get paid. They took 2.3 of $4.5 million, aka they still banked $2.2 million. Good on you.
Figure out how to code, and you can pretty much get away with everything.
Can't even spell my own name, let alone code.
Dude.
Start just banging the keyboard like this. That's how I'd code.
That's what hackers look like. They just look like they're banging on the keyboard randomly. Just
pays off.
It really does. Apparently it does. Switching gears a little bit, college baseball. We were talking about it over the weekend. Oh my God. I don't know if it's just this year. I know that college baseball is awesome every year, but this year in particular, it seems like college baseball is really finding like a niche on social media where it's everywhere right now. Like you see college baseball everywhere. The fans are going crazy. The SEC is having a day. I just saw another video of like Arkansas today. You know, on last Friday, Tennessee had their shine hitting a walk-off grand slam. Then now Arkansas, they hit a walk-off home run. I mean, like college baseball is amazing this year.
Oh, it's so good. I think too, like there was a stat that they put on last night or the night before, and it was like, dude, there was in the regionals this weekend. So I think there's 32 teams in the regionals. 32 teams, and the supers are 16 teams, and it goes down to the final 8 in Omaha.
Yeah.
Dude, there were almost 300 home runs in the games this last weekend.
I saw people getting upset about the metal bats. Dude,
oh, I loved it.
Are you kidding me? Who cares? The metal bat BB core is like as dumbed down as they could possibly be for a metal bat. Before
going to wood, there's no other option. It's like it's BB core and then wood bats. Like there's no, you can't do. I did my senior project on BB core, wood bats, and BESR bats, and like
BESR bats. Those used to be
people were literally
dangerous.
Dying.
Yeah, dude. You would hit balls back to the pitcher and they would actually die because the balls were hit so damn hard.
So Taylor, so like I said, I actually did like my senior project on this. So they did an independent like tee test. So they would put the ball on a tee and they'd hit the ball off the tee with a BB core bat, a BESR bat, and a wood bat. The BESR bat averaged off the tee. So this isn't including like a 95 mile an hour fastball. Yeah. It was like 92 or 93 miles an hour off the bat from a standalone position.
Good God.
Yo, what?
Yeah. So factor in someone throwing low 90s. That's coming off 120 or
okay. Like, so I don't know what the difference between a BSR.
It's just the materials that the barrel and stuff is made out of.
Okay.
It's like the only difference.
Okay.
So like the BSR bats were mainly like aluminum and stuff like that. Okay. And now they're like 2-piece composite with just stuff in the middle of it kind of to help bend it. Sure. Basically it's more to feel like a wood bat.
Okay.
So the BB core bats, I think the average off the barrel, and this was back in 2012, so it could have changed 9 years later, which I'm sure it did. Mm-hmm. But it was like 84 miles an hour, I believe, off the bat, which 8 miles an hour difference is quite a bit.
That's
that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
And then wood bats, I think, was like 76 or 77 miles an hour off the.
Oh my gosh, that's a huge difference.
And that dude, and that's just standing still, like off the tee. Again, if you throw in low 90s fastball off of that, the ball has to be coming off over 110 miles an hour.
Damn. And it killed people? Did it seriously kill people?
There was a couple kids that passed away because of it.
No way.
There's like kids in Little League that were
dying. Yeah, because they'd get hit in the head because they'd be coming off the bat so hot. Yeah, dude.
Yo,
like, imagine Little Leaguers passing away because they're getting hit in the freaking dome by a 110 mile or Little League bat. Like that's crazy. So yeah, they had to deaden the bats. But overall, back to college baseball. College baseball is going off. It's amazing. Is there any teams, Matt, that you've watched that you're favorite in?
Well, I was going for Oregon State because they've always been like my school, but they ended up losing in the regional, unfortunately. I think it'd be cool to see LSU win it because their coach is retiring after this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coached for 39 years or something like that.
He's the coach that got tricked into hitting that pitcher that's never hit before. That like iconic viral video where the kid's like, "I just hit bombs, coach." And
and then and didn't the kid end up hitting a bomb?
Yeah, the kid hit a home run, and then he like walked in the dugout. He's like, "Coach, I would be honest, I've never hit before."
Oh yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah.
Okay, just hit bombs.
Like the teams are just so good this year. Notre Dame is really good. Vandy would be sick.
Yeah, everybody.
Arkansas. Whenever my team, whoever I'm rooting for, gets eliminated, I just like, in all seriousness, I just want the games to be like fun, like good games, like close. I hate blowouts. There was a couple games this weekend, like 19-1. Like,
I saw the
football scores, dude. I'm just like, oh my god, like
the Ole Miss Southern Miss game got like ugly fast.
Yeah, it was like 15 to
it was 12-0 in the second inning. Like the guy hit 2 grand slams by the second inning. It was wild.
Yeah. So I just hope it's like a good series regardless. But yeah.
Also, people forget how much money is in college baseball until they look at the super regionals and stuff. There's 25,000 people at a college baseball stadium. It's
especially packed. At those like southern games, like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Dude, talk about electric. Oh my god.
Absolutely wild. I can't believe college baseball hasn't gotten popular sooner, but it's cool that it's here now. It seems like it's having its moment right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Staying in the sporting realm, I don't know if you can call this a sport, but the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight.
Oh, I think I'm going to talk about that.
We got to talk about it.
So rigged.
I tried to bury it to the very last topic here. Yeah, not great.
It looked so fake. Is the main thing. Like it didn't even look. I don't know, man. Like I
didn't watch it, so I can't really tell you.
I've watched. Well, I ended up finding a couple people on Instagram that just straight up filmed it live on their phones when it got to the Logan Paul fight. It was the funniest shit ever.
So funny.
But like the first round came out, Logan looked like he popped off a couple times, and I was like, oh, all right, cool. Like it might be a good fight. And then it was a lot of just like a couple pops, and then they would hug, and then a couple pops, and then they would hug, and then a couple more. And it was basically more of just like a blocking match. Like one would
I mean, that's Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is the best defensive boxer of all time, obviously, but it just was it wasn't. I don't know. It's hard to say that because it wasn't a good fight. It was really boring and mundane to watch. Like it wasn't even exciting.
And nobody got knocked out either, right? In the whole card.
No.
Have you seen Conspiracy though?
Did you guys see Ocho Cinco get bodied?
He got dropped.
Yeah. That was awesome. Dude,
I can't believe he got up from that.
Dude, Ocho Cinco can throw hands. He's not bad. Didn't
he get into a couple fights in the NFL?
Oh yeah, he has that famous one with Cortland Sutton, I think it is, where he's literally like ripping his helmet off and like punching him. Like it's like crazy. Like dude, he used to go off on people.
Dude, I was honestly like a little surprised at Ocho Cinco. Like I was like, he can get it down. But yeah, the Logan Paul Mayweather fight, just I seen a lot of people that were like, oh, Logan's such a good boxer. It's crazy that he lasted that long. But you also got to think about this too. Like one, it looked rigged, but two, Logan Paul is like 35 pounds heavier than Mayweather.
Oh yeah.
So no matter
taller
how,
too by a lot.
Yeah, I think he was like at least 6 or 7 inches taller. So no matter how hard Mayweather is going to throw, which for one, I don't think I've seen him knock out anybody in the last
he doesn't have
years.
Any knockouts. I don't think he ever has any knockouts.
Yeah. So he's never knocked out anybody, and he's sure as shit not going to knock out. He didn't even knock out McGregor. I mean, he technically got a TKO because McGregor was going to get knocked out, but like no matter how hard Floyd was going to throw at Logan, it wasn't going to knock him out completely. And I think a lot of people thought that that's what was going to happen. But you got to think about this too. Logan trained for that fight for almost a year. So obviously he's going to be prepped for the fight. Like he knows he's coming against a guy that's just going to try to throw hands with him. And he's one of the greatest boxers of all time. But on the flip side, a YouTuber just lasted like 8 rounds with the best boxer of all time. Kind of goes to show that, I mean, everybody really can fucking box. I mean, it's just boxing. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have an interesting question for you guys. So you see this with boxing now. You see celebrity matches and you see how much money people are getting. And Floyd's basically carved out a section of boxing for himself with this like celebrity boxing. He's boxed McGregor. Now he's boxed Logan Paul. He's made a combined like $250 million between both of those fights. He made $400 million boxing Manny Pacquiao. So he clearly knows what he's doing when it comes to like selling these fights and trying to get money for them. The one crazy thought that I had this weekend is, at what point do some of the UFC fighters get tired of their paychecks and there's like electric people like Sean O'Malley or even Conor McGregor are like, you know what, let's run it up and sanction a UFC, not UFC, an MMA fight in an octagon in a setting like Floyd and Logan had it. Say there's 2 people that want to fight each other in an MMA style fight, and Connor's like, I can sell the shit out of this. So I know Dana would obviously hate it, but at some point you got to respect the money that they're earning on these. Like, they're absolutely dominating UFC paychecks.
The problem with that, though, is MMA fights and boxing fights are completely different
100%
styles. So you can't really, I mean, a lot of people can kind of learn how to box within a few months. You can't, it's not like you're going to be the best, but everybody can kind of eventually learn the basics of boxing within 3 to 4 months. You can kind of, like, MMA is so different because
there's just so much that can happen in different styles.
There's so many different aspects to it. You have boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu. You got people that do karate. You got people that do other styles, just different styles of fighting that all mix into the same thing. And when you incorporate leg kicks, takedowns, submissions into the boxing, it changes the whole game. And I think that's why a lot of people aren't as keen to go over to MMA and try to make an MMA fight happen, because a lot of people are just want to box, which I don't mind. Like, I think that if you can make money boxing like that, then fucking do it. Go box YouTubers for millions of dollars and get money. Because I know a lot of people in the UFC are starting to talk shit to YouTubers now because they're figuring it out. They're like, wow,
I mean,
these guys
look at Tyron Woodley. He's literally like, hell with this. I'm going to go catch a bag facing Jake Paul.
Dude, they're literally going to go box 6 rounds. Tyron's probably going to knock his fucking block off. And then he's going to have more money in that one fight than he did in his like 20-year span of fighting. You know what I mean? At some point, the UFC has got to, well, as much as I don't like Jake Paul, he did have an interview and I agreed with what he said. He said at some point, these UFC fighters have to be making more money. They're risking their lives even more than people that are boxing, and they're making the least amount of money in any major sport that's on the market today. And which has been the case forever, because it was so looked down upon for years. Like, it was banned in the US for a long time. And then eventually when it got to the US, it didn't even pop off till 5 years, 6 years ago. Like, that's when it really started getting big. I mean, the Ultimate Fighter aired in like 2000, I want to say like 8 or 7, something like that. So late, the early 2000s, and then it's picked up since then. But obviously it doesn't have the same traction as like NFL, NBA,
right,
MLB,
Dude,
NHL.
I think in the next 4 to 5 years, I think the title fights is, I think the other thing too with the UFC versus boxing is, dude, there's so many fighters in the UFC. I don't think they could pay the fighters that much, because there's so many. Like, dude, there's a big title fight every other month, right? For boxing, it's like once or twice a year, maybe. And with the UFC,
it's a little bit more than that. But I think the aspect that they should go with is not pay everybody millions of dollars, but they should pay title fights
like
and
the headliners.
yeah, and like top 5 dudes more money. Like there's no reason that John Jones and Francis Ngannou shouldn't be making $10 million on their title fight.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why that's. I mean,
they also have to. UFC has to realize the Jake Paul and Logan Paul model. They have to understand why they're getting paid so much to do what they do. People are paying for their fights because they have huge followings. I mean, when you have 20 million YouTube subscribers alone, not counting your Instagram, I think they said all of the social media sites, Logan Paul has 66 million followers across all platforms.
Well, and I think that's why you see the UFC. Honestly, like, dude, I see the UFC on Twitch. They're on all the time, like almost every day. They're on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, I think Sean O'Malley, I think he's marketing himself phenomenally, dude. He's on TikTok. He's on
that's
Instagram.
what needs to happen across the board.
Streams.
Yeah.
Like he's marketing himself in a good way to where he's getting his name out there and people are going to like him. I think it's just a matter of time for that.
Yeah. I do think it's hard though. The model that Jake Paul and Logan Paul have said, it's hard to be a good UFC fighter and try to do all of the other stuff at the same time. Like it's one thing to market yourself, but UFC is so damn hard to be good at. Like you got to be good at rolling. You got to be good at, boxing. You got to be good at so many different aspects that to market yourself on top of that, while Jake Paul and Logan Paul have what they've done is built up their audience. Now they're just focusing on boxing. They're not really building up their audience. They're not really marketing. They do, stuff here and there, but like they basically built a foundation for the last 15 years. And then now they're doing boxing. Yeah. So they, that model is really hard to follow, but at the same time, UFC just has to do a better job of informing their fighters of like, yo, you want to get paid, you have to be like this. Like you have to have a good following on Instagram. You got to have a good follow. Like these things matter when it comes to dollar amounts.
I mean, well, I guess as a marketing standpoint, that would make sense. But the bare minimum for just being within the top 10 in the world should be a huge pay increase no matter what. Like each weight class should get like a fat pay increase when you reach a ranked top 10, or if you fight for a title fight, it should be like way more money. Because I think like even McGregor, I think the last fight he had, not recently, but like the last title fight he had against Khabib, right? I think it went for like 500 G's. I think that's as much as he made on just the one fight. And I think Khabib made 300 or something like that. Because I think he got paid less. But that's like, and that's one of like probably the most famous fights within the last 6 years. That fight is huge. And I know there was a ton of people that bought that fight and only hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. I'm sure the more that it gets popular, the more people are going to start paying the money and trying to get fighters paid more.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, crazy times we live in because the UFC definitely is. It's trending so far upwards that it's weird to talk about the weaknesses that the UFC has because they've only been around for such a short period of time. Like
that's the thing too. Yeah.
True. Like the MLB has been around since the freaking 1800s, like truly like hundreds of years at this point. And UFC is in its infancy. So we're really seeing like a meteoric rise for the UFC. So, it can only get better from here. Even the NFL, like the Super Bowl, we just had Super Bowl like 54 or something like that. So, we've got the UFC has got many, many years to try and catch up to them. So and
it's only getting bigger now too. Like
what they've done in the past couple of years, like it's been crazy impressive. So I think it's disingenuous for boxing to be like, oh, UFC's dead. It's like UFC hasn't even began to.
UFC is, if anything's dead, it's fucking boxing, dude. You know why? Because you have to get YouTubers to get people to watch your fucking boxing matches. That's 100%. Why.
Absolute. Honestly, it's just kind of embarrassing to be.
It really is.
It really is just.
Well, I mean, really and you think about it too. Like, think of like household names of like boxers that are still boxing right now. Right, you can only really name like 3 or 4.
I know that Canelo. I know Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder, and Anthony Ruiz. Those are the only 5 I know, and 4 of them are heavyweights.
And then
Canelo,
Garcia. What's that?
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia.
So 6.
Yeah.
Dude, we can name off 20, 30 UFC fighters right now.
Yep.
That easily.
Yeah.
So
And they're
it's
household
really just a
names
matter
too.
of
Like
time.
it's not just like us. Like UFC
Yeah.
fighters are household names. Like
Yeah.
Conor McGregor is a household name. It's not just in
Yeah.
boxing. Like he's a international icon now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's wild. Last thing I have for you guys today. A little update, Chick-fil-A update. Made it to step 3. So we
Oh,
pass
let's go.
we pass
dude.
we had to take a personality test today. So that
you
was
guys definitely failed. Hannah
so-
really screwed you guys there.
Yeah, so this is where it all comes to an end. But
R.I.P.
but I wanted to give you guys an update. The pipe
Dude,
dream is
that's-
still alive. There,
That's
I
so
think
crazy.
I told Hannah, I was like, they're probably just sending us like random busy work to keep doing it. Of like, yeah, they're definitely not going to get this. But we actually
can't
have
wait till
zero
you
hopes
own
of
one.
it. Zero hopes of actually owning one, but you know, we'll see. It's a shot in the dark. We'll definitely see. It's kind of crazy. It's crazy because there's already one in Spokane now, so I think the likelihood is probably greater than it was when we didn't have one.
Yeah, true. That's
you would
very
kind
true.
of think, right?
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
not like the pioneers in Spokane. Like the model has been set. So
I just want
you know.
something in the valley, bro. Like I feel
Right,
like the
like-
valley gets so hosed.
And the valley has such good like Sprague is like one of the busiest
Yeah,
roads in
fair.
the eastern Washington. So it's kind of crazy that it doesn't have anything there, you know?
It's crazy.
They got
Oh,
like
wow.
2 zips. Know that.
Dude, listen, Zips is such an
Ugh.
underground treasure in eastern Washington.
I love
Underground
Zips.
treasure. I love Zips so much.
I love Zips.
It was literally the single most thing that I missed the most when I lived in Boise. I would always come back. Zips is first stop. Like it's great. Everything about Zips, milkshakes,
Ugh, no, I want
fries,
Zips.
the best.
Oof.
Never
All right, we
order
got
Zips.
one whack thing, and then I have a special segment for you guys that I got inspired by earlier today listening to another podcast. But we're gonna have a new segment on Way Out Here. But first, let's do one whack thing. Tay, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let me get to my figure out where the hell my stuff is at here. There we go. All right. So my whack thing comes out of California. Oh, there it is. Okay. So engineers in the airline holding place in California.
Like TSA?
No, so apparently in the Mojave Desert, there's a hangar where they're putting like old airplanes that aren't in use right now because of COVID and everything. They're keeping them in this storage facility in the Mojave Desert. Well, they've been having like a really bad issue with rattlesnakes, apparently.
What?
Yeah. And so when they do like their pre-trip checks for these planes to maintain them and to make sure that they're flying right, whatever, they have to like go through the plane and through the bottom of the plane and so they've been having a bunch of like rattlesnakes and scorpions and stuff.
Stop.
Yeah. So apparently they decided to put out an article saying that they've came up with a new way of doing the inspections, and they invented a thing called the wheel whacker. The wheel whacker is basically a broom handle that they just take around the tires of the fucking plane, and they just smack the tire to make sure that rattlesnakes fall out. And that's it. That's pretty much the whole thing.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, what an awful job. I hate
Who the fuck is hunt? Could you imagine going to work every day and your whole job is to go smack rattlesnakes with a broom handle?
Dude, you couldn't pay me enough money to
Dude,
do
I
that.
Fuck no, dude. I hate snakes so much. And all you have is a broom handle.
pass.
How long is a broom handle?
Probably like
Let's
it's probably
consider.
like 4 or 5 feet long. It's a legit. They
Okay.
literally said in this article, wheel whacker, and then in parentheses, actually a broom handle redesignated
Is it wood?
as a.
Is it a wood
it's
broom handle?
Wood. Well, yeah,
I
it's
can
wood.
fuck up a snake with that.
You think so?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm way faster than a
The
snake.
problem is
They call me the cobra.
a sitting snake I'd be fine with, but as
They
soon as
call
the
me
as soon
cobra.
as, soon as the snake starts
all snakes
moving,
sit.
pass.
Yeah,
Dude, they-
true.
they move. I don't know if you guys have
That's
ever
my
seen a
issue.
snake
Is
in
like
real
once
life.
it
They
once it starts
fucking slither so damn fast. Like they'll come at you.
pass, dude.
I'm curious how
hate
fast
fan,
snakes
bro.
move.
They fucking get after it, dude. It freaks me out. How fast does it go?
18 miles an hour?
Yes,
it can
18
outrun
miles
you,
an hour.
bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
Do you know how fast
absolutely
humans run? Not 18 miles an hour.
no,
I'll
we
tell you
looked up
that.
like the average human runs like 12 or 13 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
I think Usain
Snakes are
Bolt ran
faster
the
than
fastest at
humans.
like 21 miles per hour, like topped out. Usain Bolt, fastest guy in the world,
I think it
21
was
miles per hour.
23.
Regardless, is very close to 18 miles per hour. Like the
Dude, I
snake
feel
is
like
like
that's-
right on the hills
I'm
of
not-
Usain Bolt.
I think this is actually the fastest snake. Yeah, this is the fastest snake. It's called a sidewinder.
That doesn't give me any confidence I can outrun
No.
it.
What the hell is a sidewinder?
How fast? We'll say
What?
average. It's the average.
We love hearing animal speeds. This is like a
Dude,
very
right?
very common theme of the podcast. We just tell people how fast an animal is, and we just marvel at how fast they are. Like, whoa.
Because they all fucking haul ass, and it's weird.
People are like, wow, this is
They
animal
they
planet
rip,
up
dude.
in here. They rip.
It's like
All
the
right, Matt,
Walmart
what's
Animal
your
Planet.
what's your one whack thing?
Okay, so mine comes from the great country of Hong Kong. So a parking space in Hong Kong, in a Hong Kong neighborhood, a parking spot, keep this in mind, sold for $1.3 million.
Shut up.
It's
What?
a new world
Why?
record. So the parking space is at the luxury Mount Nicholson residential project, and it was sold by Wharf Holdings Ltd. and Non-Fung Group, sold for $1.3 million to an unidentified buyer. The price for the 134.5 square foot parking spot amounts to about $9,500 per square foot.
What?
This that sum, it beat the previous world record for the most expensive parking spot, a $970,000 space. That one was sold at the 79-story Hong Kong office tower, the center, in October 2019.
So this is what we're doing now. We're paying millions of dollars for
That
parking
is
spaces.
called you money.
Yes,
you-
that is.
Could you imagine paying $1 million for a parking spot and then it gets taken when you get there?
that's the death penalty.
Oh my gosh.
That's the death penalty.
I would literally kill.
So
kill
I
to see
I
that.
bet that doesn't happen because it says it's at a luxury.
Bro,
Mount
if
Resi-
I paid $1 million for a fucking parking spot, there better be like 24/7 security around it to make sure nobody's going in that damn thing.
Can you
Yeah, I
imagine if
think
your
I-
car
$1
got
million
stolen?
dollars?
Can you imagine if your car got stolen from that parking spot? I paid $1 million for this just for my car to get stolen.
Oh my
I
gosh,
actually wonder
yes.
how much the car is they're putting in the parking space that's $1.3 million.
Would just be like some like
Honda Civic.
whoa. I was
What
gonna
the
say like
fuck?
Sorry,
a
that was out of
Suzuki
bounds.
Samurai
Honda
or something.
Civic, what the?
I want to see how
Yeah,
much.
Acura, obviously.
Some Subaru Outback.
Oh, hang on. So I think your Hong Kong maintains the status of the most. Your real estate is here in 2017.
Imagine buying like investment real estate and it's just parking spots. You just like flip.
I think
parking
that's what
spots.
this-
Dude, honestly, that's not a bad idea. That's actually, if they're going for $1 million fucking dollars,
Oh, it's like a
this.
villa.
Dude, let's go. Let's actually see if on Zillow they have parking spaces.
Oh shit!
Like, you
So I'm
can
trying to figure what this is.
have pictures of parking spaces on Zillow. Just
You have to. You could customize your own parking space. Just put like a big old picture of something on the middle of the park. Oh my gosh, I'm down. I'm so gonna do this.
Dude, it
I'm-
looks like it's just a house.
what?
The Villa Mount Nicholson in the prestigious Peak District has 4 bedrooms, a swimming pool, a private garden, and an elevator. The house offers a picture. Oh, I got it. Picturesque view of the famous Victoria Bay. The house was sold for 1.1 billion Hong Kong dollars, which is $149 million, by Wheelock Properties to an anonymous buyer. Villa, the price per square meter is $16,000 per square meter.
Good Lord.
Was designed by, I'm trying to figure out what this is. I don't know if it's just like a one house or it's like houses within this like whole villa or.
So the house sold for $1 billion, and then the parking spot in front of it sold for $1 million.
So $149 million is what it sold for.
Who
The
is
house,
buying these houses?
unknown.
Unknown my ass. They
Jeff
got
Bezos.
They got hella Bitcoin. God damn. Just cashed out and bought a $150 million home.
I'm trying to think. This looks fucking bitching. I think. Oh yeah. So it looks like they're just villas inside. Yeah. So there are multiple villas. So it's like literally a bunch of houses down this strip.
So you just bought an apartment?
Well, look at this, dude. This is sick. I don't know if it's worth that kind of money, but like, look at that. So that's like that's all the villas that they have there.
And they own all of them.
So I'm assuming the parking spots are up there.
Oh,
with those two, like, but then all those houses are what they're selling down below there.
Wow, that's
Awesome.
crazy.
This is
hella nice though.
Right?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
$149 million is I don't even know anything worth that much money.
It's my life. Debatable. That's $149 million too much.
What is the US value of your life at? Isn't it like $1.5 million, something like that? Like if it costs more than that, they just like won't save you or anything. Like if you're like kidnapped in another country, if the ransom or something like that is like more than 1.5, they'll just be like, oh, sorry. I think it's something like that. It's like 1.5, $1.7 million.
One human life.
What?
Well, listen to this. One human life is worth about 10 million US dollars.
Who
This was on npr.org.
put the dollar figure to that? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
How
let
are
me
we
just
doing the math?
debunk that. I'm not worth $10 million. Promise.
No shot. I'm worth like 3 McChickens and a large Coke.
I'd
Yo,
sell you
that
for a
sounds good
drip
as
of
hell
water.
right now.
I'd sell you for a drip of water.
Oh my gosh, what the hell? That's
Ugh.
crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
I mean,
Bless
congrats to that guy for absolutely just throwing money around Hong Kong.
him. Yeah.
You know what you can buy for $149 million in Spokane? Probably everything.
Spokane.
Probably the whole lake of Coeur d'Alene.
Probably.
The whole, every drip of water on.
Literally, they're just like, this is now a private lake. The whole thing. Just
Oh wait,
wrap
why
it-
does
wrap it-
this
wrap it up? Gate it
Imagine
off.
They just gate the whole thing.
Can't even look at it. It costs to look at it. They just put up big walls. Like build the wall. They just build a wall around Coeur d'Alene. Nobody can even see it. That'd be badass. Actually, that'd be hilarious. All right, my one whack thing to round it out here. So, in London, this was going viral over the weekend on Twitter. But in London, they built a pool set 115 feet in the air between two London skyscrapers. And
nope.
it's see-through.
No, thank
Yep.
you.
absolutely sign me up.
So
I
it's
am
a
out.
glass pool 115 feet in the air
So
between
sick.
two skyscrapers.
He's so sick.
That'd be hella scary, I'll be honest.
No,
That'd be freaky.
hell
Oh, that'd
no.
be so cool.
Could you imagine if the wind up there is just swaying that damn thing? Nope.
Yeah,
no.
like a jacuzzi.
Somebody just throws a rock. It's just
There's no way a
throw it-
rock is gonna break that.
Who knows, dude?
Just
Do
cracks it
you
just
think
enough.
they can't dive or do cannonballs in that?
I don't know.
I think there's a rule.
No, water
don't know.
displacement, buoyancy.
I don't know.
Dude, you can't even spell flamboyancy.
I didn't. What
It's Taylor-
flamboyancy?
Hey, remember it's Taylor's month.
Oh, true. Hey,
No, the pictures of this actually look like extremely scary.
do you want to link it? I kind of want to see it.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do that, just to feel my heart just in my ass for 30 seconds.
Are you talking
Or
about
my
stomach in my ass.
skydiving?
Excuse me?
Like, are you talking about skydiving?
No, like
bungee
like when
jumping?
you get nervous, your guys' stomach doesn't like drop to your butt.
I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Get
but
that feeling.
is this what
I get that
the
feeling
hell
just
you
riding
want
in a regular airplane, bro. I hate heights.
really?
Yeah, but we're also
Um,
incredibly, you know what, when we, you know,
Yeah, I just
I asked
still
if
doesn't
airplanes have
matter.
windshield wipers.
Lots of vitamins getting taken.
Dude, that pool looks so sick.
It is really cool looking, but god damn, I'm still
It's not as long as like I'd be down for that. That'd be cool.
I like how they built the walls just high enough that you can't jump over it.
Damn it. Not going there now. Wish they were shorter.
Not in a million years.
man, that's crazy. All right, you guys ready for this new segment?
Absolutely.
So we're gonna workshop the names, but first off, it's going to be called Going Deep. So going deep with Way Out Here Boys.
Never
So,
been able to do that before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is new
Yep,
territory
so
for me
it's
too.
it's really new for everybody. So we're gonna have to really
First time caller. Long time.
yeah, first time caller. We're really gonna have to workshop this, but there's been a lot of talk. We joke a lot, and obviously we talk a lot about topics, but there are some questions that come in trying to get to know us a lot better. So we have some deep questions for us to end the show probably every other week. So just a little bit more of a serious segment for the boys. So
Oh.
obviously we hope everybody has a lighthearted time watching The Way Out Here, but to get to know us, we got to go a little bit deeper. So my first question to you guys, what is the best advice you've ever gotten?
Don't eat yellow snow. I'm just kidding.
Good start.
Oh,
Don't,
yeah.
man.
Best advice.
Best advice. I really don't listen to what people say to me. So
I mean, that's
It's just
that's
in one ear, out
technically
the
a good
other.
thing.
what'd you say? Oh, okay, cool.
It's technically a good thing.
I don't know. I could probably don't take time for granted. Especially as we're getting older, dude. Like we're getting old and we're getting old quick. Like in high school, when we were in high school, man, I was like, man, I'm never gonna like get this old, bro. Like, oh, it's gonna take so long to get there.
Yeah.
Like,
That's such a good point, dude. I
know what I
remember
mean?
looking at people that were like over 21 when I was in high school. Like, you guys are old as shit. And now I'm like, now I'm 27. I'm like almost 30 years old. Like, oh, I just have a hard time even getting out of bed without grunting the whole time. And body feels like I just ran through a wood chipper.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Taylor, it sounds like you need various surgeries.
You need medical help.
immediately. Medical attention like immediately.
I think I don't know. It's not really advice, but I don't even know. I think one thing that I've always kind of stuck to is like, if you're going to complain, at least get whatever you're complaining about done. Like, you can bitch and complain about your job the whole time, but as long as the job gets done, it doesn't matter.
Like that. That's a pretty like straightforward one that applies to pretty much every job. So like
I like that.
That's a good one. I think mine goes along with Matt's here. So mine is just be present. I like it. Like just be present in the moment. Because time goes by so damn fast. Like, goddamn, we're already almost 30, which is kind of crazy. But I feel like, you know what, one thing that I don't have regrets about, just like our friend group and being close to you guys for a long time, is we really do have like so much fun. Like almost every week, every weekend, like we really do like enjoy the moment. And obviously there's, we have to be adults, and we're growing up. But at the same time,
I really don't feel this
like
old, though.
I really don't either. Like there's some ways where I'm like, wow, time is really flying. But there's other times where I'm like, dude, I'm like 26, 27 years old is not old. Like, I mean, I always think of athletes. I'm like 26, 27-year-olds are like just hitting their prime. Like 27-year-olds are like hitting 350 off the bat. They're like scoring touchdowns. Like, these kids that, it sucks that kids are getting drafted at 18 in the NBA, but still, like the really good players, like Steph Curry is 31 years old, which makes me feel a lot better about myself because he is 4 years older. So I'm like, that makes me feel a lot better. On the flip side of this, what my second question, last diving deep question is, what is the worst piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Don't eat the yellow snow. It tastes so good.
Just to close the loop on this, just don't listen to that.
Man, the worst advice.
Oh my gosh. Hmm.
I saw this quote today, and it actually it's going to be my like worst piece of advice, but there's someone that was saying like the worst piece of advice you could ever get is someone telling you to be realistic. That's the worst
Yeah.
piece of advice you could ever get.
Yeah, that's so
Like,
dumb, dude. Because
be
then
realistic.
you put yourself in a fucking box. Like you can
Yeah.
do, you can do so much more if you actually apply yourself. Like I feel like a lot of people look at their circumstances and then they just accept it and they don't fucking
Sure.
try to change it. They just leave it.
Or like
that's-
somebody says an idea and somebody's like, nah, I don't know, man. Like just be realistic about like your expectations. It's like,
Nah.
how about I don't? How
Yeah.
about I just go out and do something that I actually enjoy? And you know what? I always think of this. I'm like, you know what? If an idea fails or if something fails that I want to do or I'm reaching for, like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, I'm just right back where I'm at right now. Like, what's
Yeah.
the worst that can happen? Right.
So like for me, I wouldn't say it's like advice, but I would say like kind of close, like how like movies portray so much stuff like relationships. Like it's not going to be a fairy tale ending regardless. Like
Sure.
very, very unlikely is that going to happen how it is in the movies. You know, like that's, and I feel like there were so many movies like that growing up and like still to this day kind of where it puts like a label on stuff like that, where this is like how a relationship is going to work or how it's going to be successful. And there's a lot more to it than just like a fairy tale ending and all this other stuff to it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I think that people get so discouraged, like watching some of the, just how we grew up too, like watching movies or like seeing social media, especially like all of these like perfect in quotes things happening around people. And it's like, people only post the good stuff. You only see the good stuff,
exactly.
You
Right.
don't see the struggle, bro. Like you don't
Right.
see that they're, they're posting that they're on vacation. It's like, yeah, they also worked 9 to 5 for, years to get there and stuff like that. So I think that it definitely puts it in perspective for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tay, any worst advice you've ever gotten?
Damn. Worst advice.
Go up a weight class.
Yeah. Nah, dude. Actually, that was the best advice I ever did. Worst advice.
Oh, go down a weight class, so you had to cut weight.
Yeah, that was horrible. Man,
You want us to circle back?
Isn't this the end of the circle?
You're making this an infinity loop here.
No. I don't know, man. I think the worst advice I ever got. I think the worst advice I ever got was probably like taking everything too serious growing up. Like I wish I probably would have enjoyed a little bit of like my high school
for sure
career, or with like wrestling and stuff, or like racing motocross. Like I had a lot of fun times. I think in high school, I really didn't care about what I was doing. I was just more focused on the sport itself. You know what I mean? And girls. Like that's pretty much all it was, like I didn't enjoy like everything else that was around it.
I have this overwhelming feeling that every high school student goes through this, like whether you play sports or you have a hobby or whatever, like parents and like, we all have like good upbringings, but like parents and like people that have influence over kids like that, I feel like not enough kids get sat down and they're like, yo, listen, if you actually dedicate yourself to this, like you're good enough to do this, this, and this, or like if you're willing to put in the work and do this, this, and this, like you're going to have opportunities to do that. I feel like I never got that like talk, right? Like I kind of knew I was like I was like pretty good at this and I was pretty good at that, and like I just never got a serious conversation of like I was just winging it, right? I was just being a freaking 14 to 17-year-old kid. Like I wish somebody sat me down and was like, listen, bro, like if you spend time on this, like anybody, and this goes for anybody, like when you're in high school, you could literally, if you work hard enough at literally anything, you can be good at it. I wish somebody
Yeah.
sat me down and was like, bro, if you enjoy this enough, and it seems like you do, you just need to put in a little bit more work, a little bit more hours, and we can get you to like another level. And I was like, I feel like I just never had that conversation, which is kind of weird, but
Yeah.
I feel like I always just relied so heavily on just my God-given abilities. And to be honest, I just really didn't work that hard in high school. Like I just didn't like, I just did
Amen.
whatever,
Hallelujah.
whatever came to me. Like I was just good at what I was good at. And I was just, that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And you can only rely on your God-given talent for so long.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
my
that's-
God-given talent wasn't like that good of a God-given talent. It was like just enough to get me by.
Yeah,
I
mine
mean-
was very, very like 1A talent. Like I had enough to play on a 1A team. Like that was my talent. But man, like I feel like if I took it a little bit more serious, it would definitely change things for sure.
Yeah, I think you just gotta kind of find the fine line between like letting loose and taking what you want to do a little bit more
100%. Because on the
serious.
opposite spectrum, holy smokes, like there are kids that I see that I'm like, man, like
Oh, they get burnt out.
They need to lighten up a bit, dude.
Yeah.
Like take him to the movies once in a while. Jesus.
Dude, growing
like
up
they're
racing, that's how it was, man. Like there was kids, I'd go to the track and I was probably like, I don't know, probably like 8 or 9. And like my dad pushed me, but it wasn't to the point where I hated it. He was just trying to get me to be better, because he could see I was like holding back, or like he would see stuff and like try to point it out, or like get on me like a coach would, you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
just kind of give you that little edge. But I used to see dads on the track screaming at their like child, like
Oh, dude, I would never.
screaming in their face. And I'm like, dude,
No, bro.
dude, 3-4 years later, they're done. They're not
Yeah.
there anymore. They don't want to be around it. They hate
Yeah.
it. They think the sport's dumb. They're like, this is just creates nothing but fucking problems for everybody. And it's like, see, and that's like, that is such a fine line between like, you want to take it serious to the point where if you're good at it and you dedicate your time, you could really do something with it, but you don't want to go so hard into it that you burn yourself out on it, because then it's no fun. Because when you stop having fun with what you're doing, then it's like, why are you even doing it?
Then it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
1000%. I love it. Yeah, there's so many freaking kids like that. Like I knew so many kids that were so good at like baseball and little league, or like good at sports and little league and just like basketball. And then it comes to high school and they're like, nah, I dropped that shit. I was like, I'm done with this. Like my arm hurts all the time. And you're just like, geez, dude, your arm hurts at 14 years old, bro. Like, well, God, get this kid some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
My hell. Crazy.
Well, does everybody know he's been doing baseball year round for the last 7 fucking
since
years?
He was
and
fucking 5 years old.
Dad's making him wake up at like 5 a.m. to go swing the bat 100 times, or go run, or go fucking throw the ball for 3 hours. And it's like, damn, dude, like,
yeah,
you gotta have a break.
There's some names that come to mind right now that I'm like, man, that's like exactly how it was for them. That sucks. Yeah. All right. That's going deep. Like I want to do this almost every week with the Way Out Here crew. I feel like a lot of people, obviously we try to be a comedy podcast as much as possible. We talk about super funny subjects, but to get to know the Way Out Here crew a little bit better, we're going to be doing this for the next couple of months, and then we'll bring back Whoa Facts here every now and then as well. But that's it for the Way Out Here podcast. Make sure to go to coastlandapparel.com, get 15% off using code WayOutHerePod. We'll put it in the show notes, but you can get 15% off at coastlandapparel.com. We will see you guys next Thursday.
Peace.